Wow, we got a lot to talk about in this episode of Yo, what's up? I got my boy High Yellow here. He's on the phone doing his
Why am
thing.
I doing on the
I
phone?
don't know
This
what
is
you on the
live?
phone. Hey, we
Why
live.
you didn't tell me?
I just told you.
Gee, I got my glasses up. Wow.
Get your glasses ready,
Okay.
bro. We are gonna hit on this episode about immigration, and it is the firestorm that everyone is talking about. And so we are going to talk about it today on Yo.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, we like everybody to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for our channel. Tell your friends, tell your family, because we are two natives of California.
San Francisco.
My wife said we should stop talking about where we're from. I don't know why, but that's what she said, because people are so crazy nowadays. She's like, don't tell them where you live.
Man, I got a booby trap for you. Come on, please. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Booby trap. I got
got a
more than a
booby
booby
trap.
trap. I got a couple
Yeah.
shotguns. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want you to comment on this. Everybody I see talking about how they don't like immigration, so far I've seen that they just got a bunch of black people talking about it. Well, I know Caucasian people and Asian people don't want all this immigration because 80% of Americans want a secure border. 80%. And that's one thing that I like. This President Trump, he is on the alignment with the 80%, while the Democrats are on the alignment with the 20%. And you can't get 80% of Americans to think and agree about anything. But 80% of them agree about getting criminals out of the country. 80% of them agree about no men and women's sports. 80% of them agree about no men and women's bathrooms. So those three topics, 80% of the people agree. And you can't get, it could be sunny outside and it could be the best day. You could be at the beach with the best beer in the world. Somebody's going to say this beer sucks.
Yeah, but, let's look at the root issue, which I agree. You have legal immigration and the illegal immigration.
And they don't make that distinction.
Unfortunately,
a lot.
The Democratic Party have led with this illegal immigration without holding them accountable or at least helping them become legal.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think they did that?
I don't have an answer to that.
I got an answer, but I want to hear your answer.
You know what? I have to say that it's economics on one side because of every immigrant that comes into the country, right, that is not legal, technically can be paid a lower salary, right? And if they stay quiet and don't say anything, that means more profits for you. Or if you are moving and you want to get a few illegal individuals to help you move, you look at saving money, right? So there's some hypocrisy in us as citizens when we should be hiring unions, we should be hiring licensed people, we should be, making employers accountable, and those unions accountable in regards to making sure all immigrants are legal.
I think it's huge. There's twofold. One, a lot of big business, especially in the construction industry, is using illegals because they can pay them less and they can make more money because they're buying all these materials and stuff that cost more. So now they can save money. Because what is the most expensive cost on anything? It's always labor. And so now they can save on labor because they have the immigrants.
Yes.
Then also a lot of these unions, and I didn't even know this until the other day when I saw at City Hall, they were protesting, and a lot of the janitors are illegals, apparently. So these are good union paying jobs. Shouldn't those jobs go to Americans? Shouldn't?
Always. And remember, I'm a big advocate of giving teenagers jobs, and young adults jobs. We have forgot about our teenagers. We have forgotten about giving them that, those work ethic and, that responsibility, showing up on time. And the leaders of the union have not really invested in that at all. And they've looked at the bottom line and forgot that even you help someone learn how to fish, okay, they will be able to feed themselves. So I think there's a lot of failure because of greed and a lot of failure, in regards to leadership at these employers.
The other thing I think is that I do think the Democratic Party was replacing black people. So they've counted on black people's vote for eons and eons since time immemorial. And in this election, more black people voted Republican than in any other election in history. They're losing the black vote because black people are waking up and seeing that, well, time after time we vote for you guys, and time after time we don't get anything. Because we had 8 years of Obama, and every black person thought we were going to get something and get ahead, right? We didn't get anything. We didn't get anything. It was a huge disappointment.
That's very good. Yeah.
And so, looking at the record, black people are waking up and saying, well, if we keep trying this and it ain't working out, maybe we'll try that and see how that works.
Well, but they didn't really, they really voted for Colonel Sanders, it kind of reminds me the chickens voted for Colonel Sanders, vote for Trump. The one thing I would say is that.
But what do you have to say about them trying to replace the black vote?
I would say that the blacks need to become more independent. And I'm talking to every African American out here. We need not only to go independent, but, I've even talked to straight black. I think we're at a point where we might need our own Utah, the way the hate has built up so much against African Americans from immigrants and from.
That's a great point that you just brought up.
Have our own state.
The racism that's coming from a lot of immigrants. And when you go online, there's a lot of black people saying, we shouldn't be in this fight. Like, if immigrants are getting shipped out, that's not our fight. Like, stay on the sidelines. Like, because black women already said that they're out since Kamala didn't get elected, that they're sleeping. They're done. So black women are done. And there's all these people online complaining about, well, look how, Hispanic Americans and Mexican Americans have treated black folks, the names they call us, and the innate racism in their own countries where lighter is better. The closer you are to Caucasian color, the better, your upward mobility is, like a caste system. And they have that. It's pretty pervasive. Look at Sammy Sosa.
In every culture.
Right? But look at Sammy Sosa, one of the richest baseball players, and he enlightened himself to, you don't even know who he is. And he got money. So why did he do that? That's self-hate. But
yeah.
Let's play a clip from all these brothers and sisters saying, this is not our fight. Stay on the sidelines.
Since y'all feel so bad for all of these people that illegally came into our country, go to another country illegally and see what happens to your ass.
But if you think that if my black went over to Mexico, you think they'll treat me like that? If I live next door to them and went to their country, you think they'll help me? Or do you think they'll help you? If you were an immigrant and went over to their country, do you think that they would do all for you that we do for them? No, they would not.
But they're all getting deported. Why should I care?
Why? Why should I do so?
When it came down to it, it was like, no, me not black, me Dominican. Well, guess what else? You about to go, buddy?
Hey, y'all illegal. Y'all better run it out. Y'all don't rock. Trump kicked y'all asses up out of our country, man. Y'all got to go. Good boy.
Black Americans, stand down and mind your business, because if it was you, they turn your ass in. This is our country and it's not our business. Mind your business, Black Americans. This is not our problem and not our fight. That is the post.
Why are y'all free to go back to your country? Isn't it literally your country? And isn't it your people? The people that have so much solidarity, they brag about it to black people. I'm confused here.
I just want to know, if you guys are protesting to be American citizens, why are you guys waving Mexican flags? And honest, don't knock me down. But if you are protesting to be in America, why are you waving Mexican flags?
Now, that's the one that That's the one that trips me out. You see all these protests in LA, and you haven't really seen that much in other parts of the country, but they're all waving like Mexican flags, El Salvadorian flags, all these other flags other than America. So if you want to be in America, shouldn't you be waving an American flag?
You should definitely engage the American flag or the American flag with that other flag, right? Because you're saying that I'm Mexican American or
Right.
whatever. But I try to stay, me, a straight black. I try to stay away from stereotype, right? But I feel what some of the African American and some of the other Americans are upset about is when they saw housing and a lot of other very necessities being given to someone just across the border and not even legal. And then also the situation with, child care and funding and food, all sorts of stuff. And, they have a valid point. If you go to these other countries, although the people will treat you right, they treat you as a tourist and love you and, you traveled a lot. So that's why I don't like the stereotype. But if you were to be a resident or try to be a resident and get a house right for free and get, car for free, all sorts of free stuff, you can forget about it. Yeah.
This is what the
That's what
American
people are upset
who
about.
works every day is thinking about. One, people who came to the country illegally are getting more than I'm getting, and I'm working for a living. That's wrong. That's number one. Number two, in the sanctuary cities, and they're coming after the sanctuary cities, they've already said, this new AG Pam Bondi, she said, if you're in a sanctuary city, you're not going to receive federal funding if you keep blocking immigration,
Or ICE, yeah.
Yeah.
Like ICE.
Which I agree with,
But-
because you're breaking the law.
But the crazy
You're breaking the law.
The crazy part about these sanctuary cities that I found
Tell them, Mike.
foul,
Tell me.
so foul.
Bring it.
How can they find these criminals in 5 weeks? If these criminals were sitting there
Man, because they
and they
already
came
knew
in
where they were.
and find them in 5 minutes,
Because
that
Biden knew
means
where they
you
were.
had a
Yes.
record of them already.
You
and
already-
you let them
Yes.
attack and be a threat to our population.
Whoa.
That is foul. As a matter of fact, the Democratic Party that's in charge of that should be under investigation.
100.
If not, maybe should do some time.
Because you know
Because
where that
that's
killer
covering up-
was.
that's
You
covering
knew
up.
where that
That's
murderer
covering up.
was.
Yeah.
You knew where that kidnapper was.
Yes.
You knew where that guy who was trafficking women or trafficking children was at. And you didn't do anything about it.
Do nothing.
Because they're going right to these people's houses and picking them up.
Okay. So to me, the Democratic Party showed their failure in a bold way. And by showing it in a bold way, people notice how they're wrong. They don't understand American people. They are totally not connecting. And even Bernie Sanders said that the Democratic Party now is not connecting to real people no more. They just all elitists, and
They
it's all
are.
about the money.
It's all about
it's
the
like
money.
watch Trading Places. Hey, I'll take care of Negroes. You take care of that book for $1. You gotta watch that movie. That's what the Republican Democratic Party is.
But it's so surprising to me. Well, not really surprising, but it's so, I would say, upsetting, to be honest, in these sanctuary cities. And San Francisco is one of them. They are basically saying that they won't get the criminals out, because that's what they're saying. These are felons. These are criminals, and they have some heinous crimes and some very long records, and they're protecting them. Wait, you're doing more for criminals than you're doing for tax-paying citizens.
Using our city tax dollars too on that too.
My money shouldn't be going to protecting
No.
criminals. I don't want my money. Why don't I have a say where my money goes? We should.
And they're keeping it quiet. because there's only two papers now, with San Francisco Standard, Mission Local, and the Chronicle
Examiner,
and Charger.
yeah.
And so the city is not really informed anymore. Yeah, they used to be. I do like the San Francisco Standard. They're doing very good reporting. But the Chronicle, I'm kind of shocked that they went to the, you got to pay me type of deal when they should be, giving that information out. You got advertising dollars. But yeah, San Francisco has failed a lot of the
But
citizens.
Look at that. It's San Francisco. Look, who are the sanctuary cities? It's all the cities that seem to have the most problems. San Francisco, LA, San Diego, Chicago, New York, Atlanta. I mean, the governor from Illinois was on the air talking about housing an illegal person over his garage. He's basically saying he's breaking the law on television, like he's above the law.
Well,
He's bragging about it.
I
I hope they come for him too.
Whatever he looked at his voting base, and
They're gonna all lose. Because
yeah.
listen, people. How would the Democrats, instead of what they're doing is theater right now, it's theater, it's acting. Instead of doing that, how could they actually win another election? Get to work. Make your cities look better. Make your state better. Do your job and brag about doing your job. And then say, well, we're doing our job. What's he doing? He's not doing his job. But right now, they're not doing anything but complaining and whining about Trump instead of doing their job. Now, they had their 4 years. And what did they do? They let in 15, 20 million people. That's a lot of people. Where are all these people supposed to go? That overruns your city services.
Yeah,
that
but-
overruns your state services.
I get that. But straight black, come on. Let's look.
20 million
straight
people.
black. We have a podcast to keep it real. So I'm gonna keep it
crazy.
real. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
You make $100 a month, $500 a month, and you heard your cousin went to America and rode and drive Uber, making 30 to 50 grand a year.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, he bought a house.
All right.
Or you got another cousin who scratched a scratcher and made $1 million. You're not going to stop anyone from coming here. They're going to knock their doors down because this is a land of milk and honey.
Come legally.
Of course, come legally. But
Come
I'm
legally
saying
like
that,
everybody else.
but they're going to, it's just so much opportunities here.
Okay.
People are
Come
talking down,
legally.
and you have to come legally. And these Democratic Party is not doing it right. If you care about people and you really want them to be Americans, you should be helping them become legal. Number two, you can't just be putting them in. You got other citizens, putting them in the city. You got to build another area or some campsite if you're going to be bringing in these people, because you can't just put them all into the system and drain our resources.
That's what they're doing.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of ways you can build camp. If armies can build camps overnight,
Mm-hmm.
why in the world can't we do one? And we got a lot of land in California.
Well, it's obvious that there's money being made on these illegals, because when you talk about what we'll
doubt.
talk about next episode and what the Doge just found out, all these NGOs, non-government, entities that have basically, they're making money off of not only bringing illegals over, but you see on the news, they're with a bullhorn telling people the ICE is coming. Now that's wrong, because you're telling the criminals. They had this lady, they were in Colorado where they had these gangs take over these apartment buildings.
I saw that film.
Okay, so
they checked it out.
Right.
It was a stage show by a Republican.
There's two. No, they're doing it today. They're doing it today. Today was on TV today. I'm not talking about 2 weeks ago. Today, they were going into this apartment building where they had blood. They were showing the whole apartment building. None of the gang members were in there because there's a lady outside with a bullhorn telling everybody to leave. Apparently, they're saying that the media tipped these. So the media tipped people off to leave. Okay, now if they're hardworking immigrants that are here illegally and they got jobs and they got families and they're working, okay, I get that. But they're criminals. These are robbers and thieves that have taken over an apartment building illegally, and you're giving them a heads up? What are we doing here?
No, if we're going to do legal or illegal, it all applies to everybody. So if you're illegal, you should be working very hard to get your legal status. And that's just it. We can't just, separate, and of course, criminals are number one, right?
Criminals got
But Democrats have failed even to the illegals. They failed us and the illegals because they didn't even try to get them to be legal. Go figure.
when it's all said and done, what was the end game? What was the end game?
Keep
You're
the
just gonna,
labor down.
yeah, you're just going to keep bringing in the illegals to keep the labor down.
They want to
So,
keep the labor
so
down.
what that does is that keeping the labor down keeps the wages down.
Yeah.
So, in other words, the party that's supposed to be fighting for the middle class is suppressing the middle class because they're bringing in unskilled workers to take your jobs to suppress the salaries.
Where they think their checks are coming from? People, their employers who hire them. So the Democratic Party has turned into a elitist party. There's no doubt they have no interest in the blue collar or middle class anymore. They constantly they constantly are always asking for money. You don't even see them around. Hopefully the Democratic Party will wake up and realize this is new. And hopefully our mayor will also clean up, the city. He's
So far, to wait and see, because there's been a lot of talk, not much action so far. But I mean, I've seen the police. I've seen police over there.
I'm seeing some
the
Jedis.
Tenderloin.
I'm seeing some Jedis.
I haven't seen them in the mission though.
Yeah.
Now, that's where they really need to be.
I'm starting to see some Jedis.
I've been seeing them in
the police
TL.
force. I can see in their eyes. They waking up looking for criminals.
Before we end this episode, and for all the mayors of sanctuary cities, I would say you should be helping ICE because you're getting rid of criminals in your city, which will lower the crime rate, which will make the streets safe for your citizens, which will make the citizens more preferable to reelecting.
But isn't it a crime to hide a criminal? What penal code is that?
And guess what? And it's a felony.
Yeah, they go after
It's
black
a
people
federal.
all the time.
It's a federal felony. And this new attorney general, she said, if you broke the law, we're coming at you. I don't care. I don't care who you are.
Yes.
Governor. And what the thing? All right. The thing that trips me out is you have these mayors, and somehow they think they're more powerful than like an attorney general of the United States or a president. Like, there's layers to this. You're here at the city level. Then there's the state level. Then there's the federal level. If the feds come for you, unless you're Donald Trump, you're done. Or if you're a president, anybody else, you're done. When the feds come for you, by the time they come for you, they've been watching you for 2-3 years. They got records. You're gone. So all these mayors, all these governors, all these city council people who are beating on their chest talking about illegal immigration and how we're going to protect those people and blah, blah. Break the law, see what
And
break a federal law.
I think you
see
also
what happens.
open up the penal code because if you look at the criminal justice system, there's a lot of cases now, a guy does a robbery and the accomplice is with them and they ask him, if you want to settle, you better tell me something. But yet the city is hiding criminals. So that, like I said, we have to look at something that maybe, some of these guys might have to do some time too. Or throw out the penal code in San Francisco. If
And the last
somebody
thing
was with the criminal.
Last thing about the sanctuary
out
city.
there.
Sanctuary city was meant for people leaving their country for persecution, either religious or some type of political persecution. They were going to get killed in their country. And then they came to a sanctuary city to seek asylum.
Afghanistan.
Okay. Afghanis, Iraqis, Iranian, wherever. Now you just got people coming over just saying, I'm a political prick. No, you're not. You just came over. You want a better life. And that's what they're taught.
And see, that's what Democrats are teaching them that instead of teaching them how to become a legal citizen. This is what you need to do.
Yeah, why are you teaching people how to break the law? Why don't you teach them?
That should be a crime.
It's man, it shouldn't be
I mean, a federal crime.
And and I know there's money in it because obviously, without illegal immigration, a lot of these lawyers, a lot of these NGOs, a lot of these nonprofits wouldn't even exist. So my thing is that we, the taxpayers, shouldn't be funding those type of operations. If they are so great, then they should get donations from the public or from whoever their people are. But it shouldn't come out of my tax dollars.
Interest.
And that is the last word on this episode of Yo, What's Up? If you got something to say about immigration, I want you to put it down in the comments below. And there's a difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. And there's a definite distinction. And you can't say that your people are illegal immigrants because they're not. They're not American citizens. And the final thing is, once you come over the border illegally, you've broken the law. So that means you're a criminal. Okay? And then you get to skip the line over the people who come legally. That's wrong. And people who support this, you're on the wrong side of history.
What's up?